right, so this is the entrance to Valley Falls State Park. That's where you're gonna do your waivers and everything. And then when you get your waiver done, you're just gonna drive down here about a mile to the main parking area. All right, making our way in. And right in here, that's where we're gonna park. Here we are at the annual Valley Falls, West Virginia Waterfall Clinic. The organizer, Jeff, has been doing this for years. It's a free event, graciously also attended by the Army Corps of Engineers, who tries to release enough water to make sure the event can go off without a hitch. This is the walk down to the actual waterfalls. It's a parking lot, park and hook. You don't need to set shuttle or anything like that. There are like 50 people, I want to say, this year, so it was a huge event. Absolutely thrilled to get my first waterfall and start to learn some of the basics around running bigger features like this. We're going to scout all of these, but this is what the upper falls looks like with 3 drop options. Get there early to attend the briefing. You will get very important safety as well as kayaking form instruction, which I won't attempt to replicate here because Jeff is a true wizard. Huge thank you to the park staff. They were super accommodating and helpful. I don't think this kind of thing really happens without their approval, so much appreciated. As we move down to actually put our kayaks in the water, each of us has a stick. Jeff asked us to collect a nice long skinny stick so that we could throw it ahead of us and use it as the lip of a pretend waterfall drop, so we can time our paddle strokes to get there and then practice planting a really strong vertical boof stroke before we actually go do it on a waterfall. The main thing about Valley Falls is getting a really good boof stroke. You don't need a lot of speed or anything, and Jeff is going to teach us that right now. GoPro audio is not good, so I'm going to voice over here. Jeff is talking about unleashing your power with an enormous vertical forward stroke. Leaning forward, getting your paddle vertically in the water, and taking a forward stroke without using your bicep and elbow to pull. And you know you're pulling if your boat starts to turn when you pull that big stroke. I think most people don't crunch forward far enough, do not get their paddle all the way in the water, do not have it vertical enough, and if it's a right boof stroke, they don't push with their left hand, which is something that can help protect your shoulder. If it's a left boof stroke, pushing with your right hand to protect your right shoulder.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Why?
So I'm not using my elbow.
So the elbow is, yeah, I got it,
okay. Guess what? It's not easy and I'm bad at it. So practice, 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 y'all. Nothing in Whitewater is as simple as it seems.
When you do a forward stroke, you take like a back stroke, you paddle in the box, you stand the box up, and you good. It's power, relax. That's all you're doing. Your hand has to be done in the water.
I did my best with that audio. Just lean in, listen, and remember, because Jeff in the flaming boat knows what he's talking about.
Adam, could you repeat that pro tip?
The pro tip is put bug spray on your legs before you get in the hook. And that way anything flying or like a little spider will not want to get on your legs.
Smart.
Adam is a dear friend and paddling mentor, one of the coolest dudes around as far as I'm concerned. Okay, we've just paddled up to the exposed lip of the waterfall, taken out, and we're going to get a look. We're going to look first looking river left. We're just left of center if you're looking downstream, and the actual first normal Valley Falls, Upper Falls drop is to the far left, and so we're going to get a look at that. This first one we're passing is the only one from that upper ledge that I didn't run, and it was mainly just because I didn't see anyone else running it, so I didn't want to be the first one to go and make a mistake.
I want to hit it right there. This would be such a bad place to fall over and then like slide down.
Your head on that rock.
So I feel like I want to come actually slightly left of the rooster tail, like put my boof stroke, yeah, like this much left. Yeah. Put my boof stroke in that rock and pull myself there.
Yeah.
Not there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, and you can see that because it sort of like the water all lands in there, like it just flushes out.
Yeah.
The event was well attended.
All right, so you look right here, you'll see some breaking water.
Yep.
You want to be on the right side of that. You can see that little rooster.
Yep.
That little rooster right there.
Yep.
Go off like right over that.
Watch people hit it in the right place. It's kind of hard to screw this up, honestly. If you're a confident class 3+ boater, you should be able to put your boat in the right place and time your strokes, and even if you don't do it well, you should be able to land without major consequences. The reason that these are class 4s, according to American Whitewater, 5s according to Jeff, is that if you make the crucial error and just like pencil into the wrong place, you could really hurt yourself. And no one's died doing this, but it's just, if it goes terribly wrong, it'll go wrong. And that's why you need to take it seriously. Just like learning anything in kayaking, I have, I think, enough skills here to keep myself safe while I'm doing it, but my form isn't really good on any of these. Imagine the first couple times you try to sweep stroke or to ferry or to roll. It's never good the first few times you do it, but really strong mental attention and practice will increase the likelihood that you have a really beautiful first run on something like this. I did not. Okay, I'm a little left of where I want to be, and I have a weak boof stroke, but I managed to pull this one out okay. My ugliest one's actually the last one. Homie in the green boat is meeting the rock. Yes, there was a rock in the landing. I will get to that shortly, but that's why your position is so important, right? You don't want to land on the rock.
I'm standing right where you want to come to.
After coming down, you need to go back up if you're going to come back down again. The hike that you saw previously in the video is kind of gnarly, and I much prefer this one. There's two options, basically. After you run that far left drop, you can walk on the river left side, which is full of, wading and slippery rocks and all that stuff. You can also look river right for this climb, which is way easier, and I recommend this one. While we're climbing up here, I'll talk a little bit about being a newer boater and getting my first drop. I could totally imagine coming back to this place when the level is similar with boaters I trust that have experience and running laps of it. But if it's your first time, and if you don't know a lot of really advanced boaters who would probably have the safety skills really to keep you healthy while you're doing this, then the clinic is really the best way to do it. The drop's about 10 feet. It's not very consequential for the most part, especially with all the safety they set up. And getting those first few kind of shakier runs in is crucial because it's not going to be beautiful the first time. But a boof stroke is a matter of safety as you get to tougher water. And so this really crystallized for me, like the next mission that I have as a kayaker is crushing my boof stroke. It's kind of like getting your roll or any of those other big progression milestones. It was crowded and I got flipped over and literally swam in the eddy above the waterfall. On a time crunch to get home, so this is my last run with Adam running ahead of me and getting videos so that he can critique my form, and this is where I do my worst, so it's perfect. Making my way up to the lip My boat is too far to the left. I hear the guy say right boof stroke. I take stutter strokes because I had planned a lefty, but eventually I get a right stroke. The problem is that my right boof stroke is on a piece of rock that is protruding out. And so what it does is it basically acts as a sweep stroke and pulls my bow left. Luckily, I don't have enough power to hit the rock with my boat, but I come close. Okay, that's my perspective of my first few drops. Let's get a perspective from an actual expert who's going to provide some feedback about my form as I navigate these waterfalls.
What's up, everybody? My name is Adam. Chris sometimes mentions me in his videos as an experienced paddling buddy that takes him down stuff for the first time, and he asked me if it was all right to include my constructive criticism of his runs down Valley Falls in this video, and I said absolutely. I've been paddling for a long time now. Here's me back in 1999, and for years I was a kayak instructor with a company called OuterQuest on the Potomac that later got absorbed by Kaleva. So let's take a look at two runs that Chris did, one from up top and one from down below. So this is Chris's very first lap down Valley Falls. He's never run it before, but I am loving every single thing that I see here so far. He's online, he's got the beta, and he is taking really good strokes. This is power. The game face is coming on. Right stroke right there. Nice. And we know it's going to be a lefty boof off the lip. And he goes down. Well-placed boof stroke, but well done. Let's go back up to the top. Let me dissect a little bit more what I like and a couple minor things that I don't really like about what's going on here. Number one, like I said, I love these powerful strokes coming up to the lip. Nice righty plant. The boat is straight to the drop. That lefty boof stroke. All right, this is a nitpicky thing. On this drop, I would probably like to see intermediate or intermediate advanced boaters take a righty boof off of the lip here, because you can see that the falls form a horseshoe, and going into that horseshoe is no bueno. At even slightly higher water levels than this, that could be a rescue situation. That horseshoe really doesn't want to let you out, but the boof stroke is great, and he's got a bunch of forward speed, so we are not concerned about that terribly, and we're going down. The other thing I see is that the body position at the start of the drop there looks really good. And then we start to see a little bit of lean back, kind of like, is this like an oh my god moment? Like where we start to just go along for the ride. The body position starts to come back a little bit instead of the bow starting to come up. And the last little nitpicky thing that I don't necessarily love here is those high hands, particularly on higher drops. If you hit the water with the paddle in that position right there, that paddle can come right back into your teeth. On a drop of this size, what we want to see is that paddle right down by the cockpit so that you're ready to brace or take a forward stroke to get out of the hole that is at the bottom of the waterfall. On much taller drops, you will see guys either tuck into the side or they throw the paddle, but again, a drop this size, let's keep that paddle down at the cockpit if we can. Here's Chris's second lap, and I'm looking at this from down below. From this angle, I'm going to get a better look at his paddle position when he goes off the lip. And on his second lap, he elects to do a righty boof. And as we can see, when he comes over the drop, he's a little bit river left of where he wants to be, just about a foot or two. And I'll tell you what, it's entirely possible, having not been here in 25 years, that I gave him the wrong beta, so my bad. Love you, Chris. But on the second drop, Chris is a little bit left of where he wants to be, and the rock flake extends just a foot or two more on that right, and that's where he plants the paddle. That paddle plant is going to start turning his boat to the right. And it doesn't matter, Chris nails these two drops. In my opinion, the first one was a little bit cleaner, but I'm going to take both. It is always awesome to see guys get out there and just send it. If you're an intermediate or intermediate advanced boater, get out there and just send more rapids. And get out there with a crew of people that you know on Facebook or you know in person, and just build that cockpit time. There is no substitute for time in the seat.
Y'all, wasn't that amazing? Thank you, Adam, for the incredible feedback and the awesome video breakdown. I was thrilled to include it in this video. The next thing we're going to look at is that slide meltdown thing that's on the far river right of the first ledge. On the far left side of that ledge is where we've been doing these drops. So this is another rapid you can run. It's super fun, a little gnarly looking for me, but let's break it down. I'm so stoked about this one. This is the Meltdown slide that's on river right, and we're just giving it a scout before running it. Hit it far left and stay left to avoid hazards. On the far right, there's this rock, which is undercut, pinning potential, nasty eddies. If you're feeling really confident, go catch that eddy. It's totally possible, but I chose not to for my first time down.
Good? Okay, that was funny because you don't actually have to paddle or anything.
No.
You just go.
It's fucking fun, man.
I love it.
What you're gonna do.
Go to this clinic. If you want to get a waterfall, I recommend it. I mean, this was incredible. You don't get free instruction, group safety like this very often. I guess maybe it's more common in Whitewater, the amazing community sport that it is. But if you haven't gotten a waterfall and you want to dip your toe in, this is definitely the place to do it if you're on the East Coast. We met people from Dayton. We drove from DC, and it's worth it to unlock that weightless feeling when you get right over the drop, that incredible like resurfacing, bouncy feeling on the aerated water, and the ability to feel a little more confident looking down at one of these things, scouting it in the future. I mean, this was really an incredible experience, and I say it all the time, but like that was the most fun I've ever had paddling. So until the next time I have the most fun I've ever had paddling, thanks for watching, y'all.